Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful day here in California after about a month and a half of rain, which we are so over at this point. It is finally sunny, it's 70 outside, and I thought what a great day to make a YouTube video for you guys, get back into the road to CHT and give you a little bit of an update on where I'm at in my studying process. So I thought it would be fun to do kind of a monthly check-in, see what materials I'm using, the way that I'm studying, how it's going, honestly, for better or for worse. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. If any of you out there are also studying for the CHT or planning to study for the CHT in the future, hit me up with some comments. Let me know how you're studying, anything that you found to be helpful, not helpful. Yeah, so let's get into it. So I have to be completely honest, I have not been as consistent as I had hoped in the last 2 months. Blame it on the weather, blame it on personal motivation, just being busy at work, crazy things going on. So I had planned to start back in February being very consistent. I was not. And so yeah, we're calling March month number 1, starting point here. I've actually been really good. I'm proud of myself so far. I haven't been perfect with my study plans, but I've been actually really consistent with getting some study time in during the week. So I'm very fortunate in my work schedule that I work from 7 a.m. until about 4 p.m. every day. I go to the gym. I am usually there for an hour to an hour and a half. I come home, I get something to eat, and then I have 30 minutes to an hour of designated study time that I'm trying to get in about 4 work days a week. I usually take Friday off, and then on the weekends I try to study at least an hour or two, both Saturday and Sunday, just depending on what I'm doing. Right now I'm far enough away from the exam that I don't feel like I have to commit my entire weekend to studying. I'm still trying to have a little bit of balance too, and if I want to go to the beach for a day and not study, then I'm going to go to the beach, and that's how it's going to work for right now. But that's kind of the basic study schedule that I'm aiming for right now. Definitely not perfect. There's been days when I get off work and I'm just exhausted. I come home, I eat dinner, and I basically just crash and I just zone out. I need to watch TV for a little bit. So yeah, I'm not perfect, but I am proud of myself. I've been pretty consistent this month, and hopefully we will continue to be that way. So we'll see. Yeah, that's what's working best for me right now. If you guys have any study schedules that you like to follow, definitely let me know. And so essentially right now what I'm doing, I'm focusing the most of my time on reviewing my anatomy. And so the material that I really come back to time and again, I bought this book in my undergrad anatomy class ages ago. It's the Netter's Atlas. You probably are familiar with it. It's an amazing book. I love it. I will use this book forever, just to review anatomical structures and be able to really visualize what things look like on an actual human is really helpful for me as I'm learning the anatomy. So not just learning the words of the insertions and the origins and which nerves innervate things, but actually visualizing it in a picture is really helpful for me. I think I'm a very visual learner, so I'm using this a lot right now. I'm actually also using Quizlet, which is an online study tool that I think is going to be really helpful. So I know that flashcards are not necessarily the best way to study, but for things like anatomy where you are literally having to just memorize it, I think repetition is going to be really important. And so I created some Quizlet quizzes for myself, and I broke it up into muscular groups. So I have a shoulder component, like a chest component, a back component, the upper arm, lower arm, and the hand, all the muscles that are involved in those areas. And my flashcards are literally just origin, insertion, action, and innervation of each muscle group. I also have I am not creative enough, and I didn't want to spend enough time to create my own like Bony landmark quizzes, but there's tons out there already. So I just will search, oh, shoulder bony landmark quiz, and something will come up, and I'll just go through the flashcards and practice it. I am trying to do them at work when I have a second, which is super rare. We're really busy in our clinic. But once in a while, a patient will cancel or not show up, and I'll have a 10-minute chunk of time where I can just be on my computer going through a quiz. I have it on my phone. It's an app that you can get on your phone. So anywhere you are, you can take your Quizlet with you and just be running through these flashcards. If you're at the doctor's office and you're waiting, so I haven't been really consistent with them yet, but right now I'm just trying to kind of get in the habit of doing them whenever I have a few seconds of downtime. The other thing I thought I would mention too in this video is that back in February, I actually did have the opportunity to go to the American Society of Hand Therapy, or ASHT, their hand therapy review course, which was recommended to me by a colleague that I respect a lot, a mentor, for CHT prep. I went with one of my coworkers and then with one of our friends that used to work with us a couple of years back. It was down in Irvine, California, down in SoCal, which was really fun. We got to make like a little trip out of it. 3 days, super intense, 8 hours a day, very fast-paced course. This is the manual for that course. I just wanted to mention it because it's part of my preparation for the exam. I decided that I wanted to go to this course. I don't think that everyone will have to, but for me it was definitely helpful, especially in the motivating factor of it. Like as we were going through topics, I felt just surprised and shocked and overwhelmed, and it made me scared. So if nothing else, it will motivate you to study. But I did actually learn a lot of information from it. I came back from it feeling really energized and really like, okay, let's do this. I was immediately able to kind of remember things from the course, and I found myself the few weeks after just like telling patients certain things that I had learned, and kind of utilizing that information. So I am planning to kind of go through this book again in the next couple of months, review everything that we went through, but right now I'm not really touching it. But I did want to say that I did go to this course. Luckily the clinic that I work at, our employers are very supportive of our continuing education, so I was able to get that cost of the course covered. It is a little bit more expensive, but definitely something to look into. They offer it about 4 times a year, so look ahead for that. And yeah, if you guys want to know more about this course, let me know, because I can always do like a review video or something, or kind of my reaction video. Not necessarily going through the material that I learned, but just kind of talking about my experience with the course. I did really like it, so just an option for you to look out for. Okay, and the bulk of the studying that I'm doing right now is this, Rehab of the Hand. It is a 2-volume set, lovely thick, I think they're about 400 pages each, textbook, all about the hand, the elbow, the shoulder, the whole upper extremity. It is technical, but I'm actually really enjoying reading it. I don't know if that makes me a nerd, but I'm trying to read at least volume 1 cover to cover, because I do feel like it's really helpful, a resource just to be able to go through and learn and remind myself all the things I know and teach myself the things that I don't know. But I wanted to tell you guys the way that I am studying, because it's actually a little bit different than the way that I used to study in high school and undergrad and then in grad school. I always used to rely on note-taking, reading my notes. I would get a whiteboard and just repetitively go over things over and over and over and write them out a bunch of times. I would make flashcards for certain things, and it worked fine. But I'm trying out something new from a YouTuber by the name of Ali Abdal. I will link his channel in the description below, because I think you should hear it from him. He's amazing. I love his videos. They're about productivity, about how to study, and he actually, I don't know if it's nerdy or not that I love his videos, but they're all about like the proper way to study and evidence-based ways to study. So he goes through all this research that, people have done about ways to study that are going to be the most effective and the most beneficial. And he talks about the way that he's applied it. So I think he's a junior doctor, but he's been making videos since the time he was in school and in residency. So definitely a helpful resource for learning how to study. I won't go into all of the details. I'll let you guys go to his channel for that. But his main points are about active recall and spaced repetition. And so as I'm reading through each chapter, every couple of paragraphs or every kind of important topic that I read, I close my book. I try to summarize what I just read to myself. I like to do it out loud because that's how I feel like I can remember it and it doesn't get jumbled in my brain. And then as I'm going through the chapter, reading, I write out a list of like test questions that I think would make a good test question. And I make like a whole list for each chapter. And then a few days later, when I go to review the material, I go through that list of questions and I try to answer them the best that I can. If I can't answer a question or if I feel like I don't quite get the concept, then I'll go back to that part in the book and I'll review. And then a few days later, we'll repeat the whole process. So definitely a lot more time consuming, but I feel like it's working so far. A lot better than note-taking or flashcards used to work for me, or highlighting, any of those types of techniques I used to use. So definitely a commitment of time, but I feel like I'm actually learning the material. So right now that's what I'm using. I will definitely link his videos for you guys so that you can find them as well, because I found them to be extremely helpful. I wish I had them when I was in grad school and undergrad, because I feel like I could have done a lot better in classes and like really learned the concepts and not be so behind now. But I'm not behind, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so that's the main ways that I am studying currently. Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot, but I'm feeling really good about it. I'm feeling like at least I enjoy the material. At least I really love, gosh, I sound like such a dork. I love hand therapy so much, so it's okay to study it for me because it's not boring. Like, I really enjoy learning it, so that's the cool thing. Yeah, we're gonna end there because I'm just starting to ramble now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, definitely go ahead and comment below. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any hand therapy related content or any more videos about the road to CHT and how things are going. All right, you guys have a great weekend, and thanks for listening to me ramble for so long.